The objective of this topic is to be able to define and identify the purpose for non-destructive testing and the symbols used to indicate inspection.
Non-destructive examination, NDE, and non-destructive
The objective of this topic is to be able to define and identify the purpose for non-destructive testing and the symbols used to indicate inspection.
Non-destructive examination, NDE, and non-destructive testing, NDT, are synonymous terms used to describe an evaluation process in which no damage is done to the completed welds or to the surrounding structures. Non-destructive examination takes place before, during, and after welding. It is used in addition to other types of tests to qualify procedures and welders, but more importantly, it is used to monitor the quality of production welding.
All welds, whether shop or field applications, can be tested for small discontinuities or defects quickly and effectively by non-destructive means. There are many methods of non-destructive testing, and more are developing daily as technology progresses. The most common methods include visual testing, penetrant testing, magnetic particle testing, ultrasonic testing, and radiographic testing. Each method has its own specific advantages and limitations, which should be considered when selecting an inspection method.
For example, visual inspection is limited to discontinuities exposed to the surface, whereas radiographic inspection could be used to inspect both on and below the surface. Selection is also based largely on the degree of quality required for the weldment. Visual or magnetic particle testing may be all that is needed for verifying weld quality on low-pressure piping. However, radiographic testing would likely be required for critical high-pressure applications. The design, welding, and quality assurance engineers must work together to determine the method of testing and the extent of inspection that meets the requirements of the weldment. Once a decision is made, it is the job of the quality assurance engineer to provide the details of inspection to the qualified inspector so that the weld is inspected according to requirements.
When non-destructive testing is required, special symbols and written testing procedures are used to indicate the type and extent of inspection necessary. These need to be understood for inspection to be effective. Non-destructive examination symbols are standardized, much like the symbols used for welding. A reference line is used in the same manner. It is usually as long as necessary to leave room for adding the necessary information. An arrow is used to direct the information to the desired location on the drawing. The arrow can be placed at either end of the reference line, point up or down, and be located at either side of the joint where the welds are placed. The side of the joint the arrow points to is called the arrow side, and the opposite side of the joint is simply called the other side. This is important because it specifies which side of the welded joint is to be tested. The symbols used to indicate the type of inspection use the initials for the test, such as VT for visual testing, PT for penetrant testing, and so forth.
When the test symbol is located below the reference line, it signifies that the inspection is to be performed on the arrow side of the joint. If the test symbol is above the line, then inspection is made on the other side of the joint. If required, the test symbol can be placed on both sides of the line, indicating that both sides of the joint are to be included in the inspection. If it doesn't matter which side is inspected, the symbol is centered within a break in the reference line. In all cases, the inspection is for 100% of the weld, unless noted otherwise.
If inspection is to be performed completely around a welded joint, then the all-around test symbol is used. Where more than a single application of the test is required, the number of tests is indicated in parentheses. This symbol, for example, is specifying 4 applications of magnetic particle testing. A tail bracket is sometimes placed at the end of the reference line to refer to details such as test procedures, specifications, processes, and other pertinent information. When a test is to be applied on a specific section of weld, the section length is placed to the right of a symbol. If less than 100% of the length is to be inspected, This can also be specified by a percentage. In both cases, the required areas are usually specified in the written procedure.
Non-destructive examination symbols can be combined with welding or other test symbols with the use of multiple reference lines. The order in which the operations or tests are performed is indicated by the order of the lines, the first operation being closest to the arrow and the last furthest from the arrow. For example, these multiple reference lines called for liquid penetrant and ultrasonic inspection to be applied with no particular side significance. The second operation specifies visual inspection to be performed on both sides. This symbol shows a single V-groove weld with melt-through to be inspected on the arrow side using a combination of visual and radiographic testing. The other side of the joint is to be visually inspected. Details of the inspection can be found in a procedure called T28.
The engineering staff can provide information for welding and inspection more effectively by using symbols and notes on engineering drawings. Once you have gained knowledge of the testing methods, procedures, and the symbol elements, you can more easily understand this common language, which helps maintain higher quality at lower cost.